Okay, this hand is pretty close. We can go Star into Prism, play Glint Hawk. I think it's good enough to keep. Okay, this might be the Pestilence combo. Okay, so we find Thoughtcast, and we have access to 4 artifacts on the board, so this only costs 1 mana. I'm thinking probably Thoughtcast first, using the Great Furnace, and then we can either play Thraben Inspector or Glint Hawk. Okay, we find Myr Enforcer and another Thoughtcast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play the Thraben Inspector, get that extra artifact out. The Myr Enforcer will be very cheap next turn. So we find a Chromatic Star. We have 5 artifacts on the board. If we play Chromatic Star, Myr Enforcer costs only 1, but then we wouldn't be able to Thoughtcast. We could Thoughtcast and look for a land. We could also play Gearseeker Serpent. I like casting a Thoughtcast, try to find a land, so we can get that Myr Enforcer out for free. We miss on the land, but we do find Thraben Inspector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we'll play the other Inspector, and we can play the Enforcer next turn. We are going quite slow, though, here. The opponent's already got access to 3 mana here. They'll have their 4th mana now, and they'll be able to start playing Pestilence presently. Okay, we find Fling. We don't have the Atog yet. Been unlucky finding our lands, but we could play Glint Hawk, return Ancient Den, replay Ancient Den, play Myr Enforcer, and then Glint Hawk again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Myr Enforcer costs 1. Okay. We could also hold up Galvblast. We could have played the Chromatic Star, which would have been better. That would have reduced the cost of the Myr Enforcer to 0. So we should have played the Star out first. I think I'm just going to hold up Galvblast instead. Just deciding if I want to cast the Glint Hawk and return the Prism. I think I would rather keep it in play so I can start putting Serpents down. They'll be hard to kill with Pestilence. Okay, our Myr Enforcer's gone down to cast down, and here's a Skyfisher. Are they going to return the Thraben Inspector, perhaps? Makes sense. And Mortuary Mire for no value. Okay, we find another Glint Hawk. So we could Galvblast their Fisher and attack with Glint Hawk, but then we couldn't play the Gearseeker Serpent. Let's start by producing a blue mana and see if we can draw a card. Or we could play the Glint Hawk and return the land. Okay, we do draw land here. Oh, what happened there? Okay. That's better. Play a Serpent. And then we could Glint Hawk again. We could still Galvblast the core Skyfisher, so that we can attack for 2. Okay, unmake, exiles any target creature, bye-bye Serpent, and another Skyfisher, probably blinking the Inspector again. And they have 2 mana up, so they might have a cast down as their final card in hand, or they could be looking to draw a card with their clue. Okay, we only have access to a single blue mana here. And it looks like we are 1 mana off of using the Prophetic Prism, blinking it, and using it again. However, we probably could play 2 Glint Hawks without much of a problem. The problem is that the core Skyfisher is keeping them at bay. Maybe we just draw a card instead. Okay, we find another Prophetic Prism. We could play another Glint Hawk onto the board. Okay, we'll pass here. We have plenty of cards in hand. Alright, what is this? Crack a clue? Yeah. So they'll be at 4 cards in hand on their main. And they'll be able to take one of our best cards. Probably the Gearseeker Serpent here. Yes, indeed. Just noticed our opponent has made a comment about our greed. Maximum greed. Greed is good. And we find Myr Enforcer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cost 1, so it'll be free when we play a Prism. Find another land. Play the Enforcer. Play another Prism. And we find a Wellspring. Okay, I think we probably Glint Hawk the Prophetic Prism. We could attack, but they have a nice blocker here in the Core Skyfisher. I think we'll keep the Glint Hawk in hand. Okay, we lose the Enforcer to a cast down. Don't have the Fling available. Would have been nice to kill their Core Skyfisher there. And they get their Skyfisher back with the Mortuary Mire. They could return Thraben Inspector and replay it, but it looks like they're holding up 4 mana, 5 mana actually. That is a lot of mana to hold up. Okay, we find another Inspector. Let's start with a Wellspring. Draw a card and see what happens. Okay, no Atog here. We'll play Thraben Inspector. And I think we'll just pass here and crack a clue. I did intend to pick up a couple Bonder's Ornaments to put them into a couple of decks. The price on those things is quite high. One of the most expensive cards in Pauper Magic today. Okay, they only have 2 cards left in hand, but the ornament will allow them to draw a card basically every turn. Find another land. And another land. So no Atog yet. Atog off the top, please. No, Galvblast instead. So we could Galvblast one of the Skyfishers, but we still can't attack through. I think we'll pass here and crack clues, EOT. And then try and finish the game with an Atog on the next turn. Okay, it looks like they're going to draw a card. Drawing cards is good. Guardian of the Guild Pact. It's not something that we can easily take care of. Myr Enforcer is one of the ways that we can block it. Okay, Bojuka Bog. We're not too fussed about our graveyard here. This is no problem. Chromatic Star. Where's that Atog? There it is. Okay. So, we have access to 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is enough artifacts for it to be lethal. Play the Atog. And we'll start sacrificing. Hopefully they don't have a way to prevent the damage. They only have one card in hand. So we have 5 mana, and we're going to want 3 for the Galvblast Fling. So we have enough to play the Prism here and draw a card. Okay, they have Prismatic Strands. GG opponent. Perfect card for them to have as the last card. Okay, so we're playing against a white and black deck. They run a lot of flyers, so Krark-Clan isn't going to be great. Leave No Trace could get rid of the Pestilence itself, but otherwise we don't have a lot of hits here. Temur Battle Rage seems quite poor. They're playing a lot of removal spells, so we could bring in 1 Leave No Trace, no problem. And I think we'll stick with that. Perhaps I should have passed the turn and been able to attack with Atog with the Temur Battle Rage. And then when they had cast the Prismatic Strands, could have sacrificed a couple more artifacts and then used the Fling. That might have been a better play. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, it was. Okay, this hand is not great. We play the Chromatic Star and then we have nothing else to do. This hand is better. We can keep this. I think we'll probably ditch the Gearseeker Serpent. We just don't have any way to cast it. And then I think I start with the Thraben Inspector. Although starting with the Thriving Heath would be quite nice. We could name either red or blue. I would like to see what I draw on my next turn before I make that decision on what color to make the Heath. Okay, fantastic. We find a seat. So we could play the seat and crack the clue, or we could play the Heath and name red. I'm leaning towards playing the Heath. It'll give us access to more mana on later turns. And we're going to need that red mana for the Atog and Galvblast. Okay, Prophetic Prism. So we have 1, 2, 3 artifacts. So Thoughtcast costs 2. If we play the Prism, it costs single blue. Okay, another Atog, very nice. Let's pass. Running a little bit short on time here. This is a new deck for me, so some of my decisions are taking a little while, but I'm also not taking advantage of my skips properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Myr Enforcer currently costs 2. Thraben Inspector means it will cost 1. And I think we still have enough to cast an Atog. Okay, our board is quite menacing at this point. Okay, they cast down the Myr Enforcer. So we'll just go ahead and sacrifice it in response. Make the Atog big for no real reason. No attacks. So we could Galvblast the Fisher and attack with Atog. We could attack with the Thraben Inspectors as well. Play another Atog and start cracking clues. Although we only have access to 2 red mana. I mean, that's enough, right? They might just go ahead and jump in front of the Atog here. We'll just let it bounce. We want to keep the artifacts for the next Atog. And we still have 2 mana left to crack a clue. This Pestilence deck is very reminiscent of Boros Monarch. Okay, Ichor Wellspring, that's very good. And a Glint Hawk. Not bad at all. Let's draw some cards. Another Prism, we don't have the mana for it. That's fine, let's attack. We'll sacrifice the Wellspring here, draw another card, and take the Thraben Inspector off the table. Okay, prevent all red damage. So they'll just take the 2. We only have 1 mana available, we'll pass. Oh, that's interesting. And they have the prismatic strands to stop any red damage. So they hope to keep a hold of the Monarch for a couple turns here, obviously. Let's see if we can find something decent off the top. Just a land. And more lands off the top. Attacking in at this point is quite difficult, and they have the Monarch, so we feel like we must attack. Very awkward position. feel like our attacks are all very bad here. And now they've untapped. They still have access to Prismatic Strands. So this is definitely a problem. Maybe we should have put Dispel in the deck, specifically to be able to counter this card. And another land. Let's go ahead and draw a card. And another land. Flooded. Alright, we're going to quit. This hand is fine, we'll keep. Okay, so far it looks like elves. Let's play Great Furnace Star. And we'll pass back. There's a Well-Wisher. That's a problem. Okay, I think we play Prophetic Prism here and pass. Okay, they're going to start being able to gain massive amounts of life very soon, and we have no removal spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can find a removal spell. No luck. So at this point, the Well-Wisher is going to put them out of range of the Atog Fling. They're already at 30 life. And with the Timberwatch Elf, they're going to be able to kill us next turn. We find Temur Battle Rage. That's quite good. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, but we're missing 1 mana. So yeah, we're dead. We're missing a mana for the Temur Battle Rage here. I wasn't thinking when I played the Ichor Wellspring that we wouldn't have enough mana. So that's a punt. Okay, we'll bring in the Electrickery and the Krark-Clan Shaman. What do we take out here? Myr Enforcers don't seem that great. Easy for the opponent to block. They can just chump it for days. Okay, no land hand. Unfortunate, we do have the Krark-Clan, but we'll have to mulligan. Okay, this is great. We have a red mana, we have Krark-Clan. Thoughtcast to redraw, Ichor Wellspring, this is all perfect, we'll keep. And we have to put something back, probably the Citadel. Maybe the Gearseeker, actually. Okay, so we've both mulliganed to 6. I could play the Krark-Clan Shaman immediately, but I want to sandbag it. We'll just play the Darksteel Citadel and pass. Classic, we draw the card that we put to the bottom, Gearseeker Serpent. I might actually want to go ahead and Krark-Clan this turn to get rid of the Vanguard. Okay, unfortunately, we don't have any sources to play these white spells yet. We could still draw a card from the Wellspring. Okay, and we'll just leave this on the board. Okay, they concede to the Shaman. They would have had to have played an elf to get the Vanguard out of range of the first Shaman trigger, and then we could have sacrificed the artifact in response to that and get 3 elves. So they were basically in a holding pattern for forever. Okay, we're just going to play the Citadel first again, and then play Prophetic Prism. Prism will give us access to the Krark-Clan Shaman. Oh, but we get Ichor Wellspring off the top. Still, we need red mana, so we'll play the Prophetic Prism. Atog off the top. Lead the Stampede. So they got to draw Aquarian Ranger. So bad lead for them. I think we probably play Wellspring Krark-Clan. Now, using the Krark-Clan now would take them off mana, so I think that is probably worthwhile. So we could play Gearseeker Serpent for 2 mana, and we'd have 2 left to play Atog. I like that. So we're putting up pressure here, and they're still trying to rebuild. They drew 2 cards here in Priest of Titania and Birchlore Rangers. So that will give them access to quite a bit of mana. Okay, we find Galvblast. So we could Galvblast the Rangers, which would cut them off of a little bit of mana, but I think I would rather just go ahead and attack. Let's play a Star for sure. That's nice to sacrifice. We'll go ahead and attack now. Or should we put a Prophetic Prism into play first? Give us an extra sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15. So this is a lethal attack. And then we'll play the either Thraben Inspector or Glint Hawk here. We could also use Galvblast to get rid of the Birchlore Rangers or the Aquarian Ranger, but I would rather keep it for a more problematic elf. So let's play the Thraben Inspector. Priest of Titania gives them a ton of mana next turn. They will still be able to do quite a bit this turn because of the Aquarian Ranger. Okay, 2 Priests of Titania. We find another land. We'll start with an attack step. Again, they do have to block. Okay, this is totally fine. Gets rid of their board. Oh, regenerate each creature you control. That's quite good. So they get to hold on to their critters. Alright, let's Galvblast either their Quirion Ranger or their Priest of Titania. Reduce their mana a little bit. Play another Atog, I think. And Prophetic Prism. Distant Melody draws 4 cards. And they have another Quirion Ranger, so they're going to be able to make a ton of mana with the Priest of Titania. Lead the Stampede, but it only got them Finehorn Elves, so their Lead the Stampedes have just been terrible. Timberwatch Elf, that is a problem. That will win the game for them next turn. Really looking for a Krark-Clan Shaman off the top, wipe the board. Oh, Distant Melody is going to draw them a ton of cards. 8 cards with the Distant Melody. So we really need a Fling off the top here. We have a draw with Chromatic Star and a draw with Clue and a draw for our turn. So 3 draws to find Fling. They have 18 cards in hand. So they're going to have to discard more than half the cards in their hand, leaving them with a very solid 7. Okay, we find land off the top. That's not what we're looking for. Let's sacrifice Chromatic Star. Find Gearseeker Serpent. Again, not what we're looking for. Let's crack Clue. Thoughtcast. Let's cast that. Ugh, no Fling. Okay, we have one more chance. We can play land. And Thoughtcast one more time. No Fling. Brutal. Alright. GG opponent. No lands. We'll mulligan. Okay, we have lands and spells. This looks fine. I think we ditch one of the Wellsprings, keep the Thoughtcast, and the Star will help us cast the Thoughtcast. Okay, we're playing against the Fairies deck. Don't know if it's Is It or Demir yet. And we find Galvblast. Okay. Play the Wellspring and attack, I think. Glint Hawk off the top. Not bad. We're looking for a land. Blue land would be nice. Okay, well, they only have a single land here, so this is definitely not a ninja. They might be a little bit screwed on mana. Oh, no, Simic Growth Chamber. That's a surprise. So this is going to be a bit of a rogue deck. We find the seat we were looking for. Okay, and we find Atog. I think we play the Atog here. So we'll just attack with Thraben Inspector, play Atog pass. And Atog will be quite a bit of pressure. If they're not playing black mana, no snuff out, we might as well just put it into play. But they probably do have Snap. If they're running Karoo lands. No blocks. Not that we could block those. They fly. They have 1 mana of any color. Okay. Let's play the Chromatic Star. The Myr Enforcer will now be free. Let's see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 16, 17, 18. This is a lethal attack. Just wondering what they could have for a single color. I don't think they can stop this. Let's go ahead and try. Another Galvblast off the top. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did we miscount a little bit? We have the Galvblast to finish it off. Hey, that works. Okay. So Krark-Clan Shaman's no good because it doesn't hit flying creatures. Electrickery seems fine. And we could run in Hydroblast for sure. Dispel might be okay. We're going to have to take a couple cards out. Fling is a bit of a liability. They're going to be running counter magic and probably have Hydroblast of their own. Yeah, why am I bringing in Hydroblast? I want Pyroblast, obviously. Handsome can hit flyers. Well, that's because you're not a Goblin Shaman, right? I mean, right? Oh, no kidding. Well, it's been a while since I've seen a Dece. Been a while since I bumped into anyone. Try and keep a bit of a distance, you know? How's the man doing? We're going to take out at least one Atog here. Again, our red spells are going to be vulnerable to the opponent's Hydroblasts. And if we're taking Fling out, then Atog is nowhere near as good. Yeah, I think that's a sentiment shared among a lot of the Magic community. Steven told me that there's a Pauper tournament going on at the deck box on Saturday, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. If I'm going to break my isolation and go play some Pauper, or if I'm going to stick to my guns and just stay home. So it looks like our opponent's also in the tank on how to sideboard. Hey, thanks for the follow there, Pablo. Much together, a bunch of commons, call it Pauper. Yeah, that I saw that meta one time when I went to play at Cape and Cowl. A bunch of people played with their standard commons. And what deck did I go in there with? I think it was Stompy. Either that or Boros Monarch. Okay, we have one land here. This just seems like a garbage hand. We have more lands. Our spells are awkward, but we can start casting. I think this is better than a random 5. We'll just throw probably the Darksteel Citadel away. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. How did you find the channel? So we're definitely going to keep this. Oh, you're welcome. It's a win-win situation. I get to play Magic and people get to watch. Oh, fantastic. The Pauper Discord. The chat does help a lot. Okay, we find Galvblast off the top. We'll just play a Furnace and pass. Discovered Pauper 2 weeks ago. Fantastic. How do you like the format so far? What decks do you like to see, like to play? Oh, that's a problem. So they're going to be destroying our lands. Okay. Should have kept that Darksteel Citadel, huh? Should have seen this coming. Okay, we'll just play another land and pass, I guess. Affinity and Mono Blue Delver. Good choices. Absolutely. Mono Blue Delver is going to be something that's very flexible. I think personally the best Delver deck is Myr Delver, but you're going to be able to take your Mono Blue Delver, oh this is unfortunate, no land here, and upgrade it into other decks, because they have a lot of cards in common. Okay, another Fairy Seer. It's not something that we're totally scared of. What is more frightening is if they had kept that blue mana up, they would have had access to Spellstutter Sprite. Yeah, I think that's fine, and then you can move on from that whenever. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to go about it. Okay, so we found the land we're looking for. We can either play Atog or Prophetic Prism. They only have 2 cards in hand. I'm actually leaning towards playing Atog. I don't think they're going to have a way to easily remove it. And it's quite the threat. And then hopefully we can find another land and play Prism Thraben Inspector next turn. Okay, how many of the fairies are coming in? All the fairies are coming in. No need to block Atog. I only have 2 artifacts in play. Ah, Core Skyfisher. That makes sense. So it looks like the opponent is playing a 3-color deck with a light white and green splash. Okay, Chromatic Star is okay. Sacrificing that to the Atog is going to draw us a card. We could also play Prophetic Prism. Do I have the deck list on any web? You can actually find the deck list on my YouTube, but I don't have it linked up to Stream Decker yet. Could play the Chromatic Star, play the Glint Hawk, bounce a land, replay a land. And that would give us a blocker in the air. I'm from Halifax. What about yourself? Catalonia. Okay. They'll just take 1. And then we're going to play the Glint Hawk, bounce a land, replay a land. Could also play Thraben Inspector, get a clue. Cancel that. We don't have enough artifacts. Alright, we'll pass here. Alright, well, thanks a lot for dropping by. Catch you later. Oh, this is going to be really good for the opponent. They get the Nature's Chant back, which is going to allow them to destroy our Great Furnace next turn. Okay, so again, we miss on land. We'll play Prophetic Prism, see if we can draw land here. We miss again, so we just have to pass. A little bit unlucky with our land drops here. Okay, but no attacks. The Glint Hawk is holding back the Air Force. We can play Thraben Inspector. Get a clue and just pass the turn. If the opponent isn't putting up any pressure, then we have time to find some cards. Surprising that they didn't attack with the Core Skyfisher. Oh, Ephemerate. Okay, that's a problem. So they'll be able to get rid of my Prophetic Prism, taking me off of colored mana. Okay, we find a seat here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite enough to play the Gearseeker Serpent, unfortunately. The seat is probably going to go next turn. I think we probably just crack the clue, try and draw another land, or play Thraben Inspector and Chromatic Star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One off of Myr Enforcer. We can attack with Atog here. Don't know if they'll block or not. No blocks. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 12, 13 damage. Just hit them for 1 and pass. So with the rebound on the stack, they can potentially kill one of my my lands here and get the spell back. Probably just return the Ephemerate. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, could sack Star, draw a card, do more damage. I was hoping to keep my artifacts healthy for one more turn to potentially play Enforcer. Another Galvblast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Myr Enforcer costs 2. Could play the Thraben Inspector, but we still miss out. Myr Enforcer would cost 1 at that point. And they can also just block Ephemerate the Atog. Or Ephemerate the creature that blocks the Atog. Yeah, that happened one time. Game 1 against the deck. They just totally missed that we had lethal on board and didn't bother to block. Okay, let's see here. So every turn they're going to be able to rebound the Archaeomancer and get back the rebound itself as well as the Nature's Claim. So our artifacts are never safe. Myr Enforcer would die in a flash. It'd be nice if we could get a Gearseeker Serpent out. We just need to find another seat. Okay, they chose not to shuffle, and they have Swamp. So this is really a greedy deck. They play a lot of colors. Coiling Oracle, and they reveal Snuff Out. Ugh, they have Snuff Out. I was not expecting to see that from the opponent's deck. And they get rid of our colored mana. So we're going to go ahead and concede this game in a moment. I want to see what I draw here off the top. Galvblast, Galvblast could actually be a way through this. Okay, we get Thoughtcast off the top. So we could draw 2 cards, look for lands. The way we have to cast this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't really matter because we have 5 artifacts instead of 4. But basically you want to put the Thoughtcast on the stack and then use the Chromatic Star to cast it, and we'll count the star for the Affinity discount. We do find a land. Unfortunately, it won't let us cast anything. Let's go ahead and... I don't think we attack here. They have the Skyfisher, which would eat our creature. All right, we're going to move on to the next game. We're going to take out the Myr Enforcers because of how easy it is for the opponent to destroy them. We'll bring in Dispel and one of the Flings. Okay, this hand looks fine. We'll keep it. A little bit slow. We're going to start with Prophetic Prism on the second turn. But after that, we should be able to speed up. And we have Fling for the Atog. So hopefully that'll be able to finish the game. They kept 7, so they might just have some of their sideboard cards right from go. And we find another land off the top. Very nice. So if we keep all of our permanents here into our next turn, we can Thoughtcast for 1 and then play Atog. We might also just play the Gearseeker Serpent here. Okay, they do have the Nature's Chant. So we could play Atog, or we could play Glint Hawk. We could play the Thoughtcast, it would take all of our mana. Prefer to play the Thoughtcast next turn. Let's play the Atog here. We didn't have enough mana. We need 3 mana to bird, bounce, draw. Although we could have bird, bounce. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Play the bird, bounce the Ancient Den, play the Ancient Den, and then Thoughtcast. So that would have been quite good. Another land, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can Thoughtcast for 1. We're missing the second blue, unfortunately, for the Gearseeker Serpent. Okay, another Thoughtcast, but we cannot cast it. Alright, what have they got for 3 mana? Cast down on the Atog. Bye-bye Atog. And a Witching Well. Okay, Ichor Wellspring. That would have been great if we still had Atog. Let's play the Prophetic Prism to start, draw a card, see if we find land. No luck. We'll attack and then Thoughtcast for land, I think. We could also hold up Pyroblast and Galvblast. I don't mind holding up Galvblast here. If we Thoughtcast and don't find land, we have to discard a card. We'll hold up Galvblast. Haven't seen any Spellstutter sprites from the opponent yet, which is quite surprising. Figured for sure they would have some. Okay, Archaeomancer. We're going to go ahead and Pyroblast that. keep them off of the Nature's Chant. And we find the land. Still off of 2 blue, so we can't play the Serpent yet. I'm going to draw 2 cards, see what we find. Find another blue. So we'll be able to start putting Serpents down next turn. We're not able to hold up Galvblast. We needed the Prism for that. So we can just play Ichor Wellspring. We'll attack for 2. And we'll hold up, I think, the white mana in case we draw one of our white 1-drops. Okay, we miss. Going to look to start putting down some 5/6s. See if we can bully the opponent. Another Galvblast off the top. This would be really scary if we had access to more red mana. Okay, they're using the Ephemerate on the Seer just to scry. They'll be able to scry 2 and then scry 2 more before their draw step. But as far as Ephemerates go, I'd say that's pretty lackluster. They're not drawing cards, they don't get to return the Ephemerate. Two cards on top. They do like what they have on top of their library, though. Here's a Snuff Out. Paying full mana cost. We almost have enough damage just in Galvblast to finish the game. We're just missing out on red mana. Okay, we find Chromatic Star. That's a red mana. Just thinking about how I want to play this. If I want to play another Gearseeker here, or if I want to just go Galvblast to the face. I'm thinking I want to go Galvblast here, so we're just going to pass the turn. Can't bully, we're not Boros. You're right. Don't have enough tokens to be a bully. Not nearly enough peasants. Okay, they're continuing to tap their lands. That's good for us. Do you have any more plays, opponent? No more plays. All right. Galvblast face. Just all the Galvblasts. Oh, looks like they have something here. Spellstutter Sprite, it finally came out. Should have attacked here first. I was just getting ahead of myself. With the way they had F6, I thought they had nothing. That's right. We'll start with the Wellspring, see what we draw. Get Electrickery. Play the Thraben Inspector. And then we can draw a card, EOT. Opponent's on the ropes here. Oh, Circle of Protection red. So that turns off the Fling, but we still have Glint Hawk, and Electrickery will still kill the Fairy Seer. Okay, so we're going to attack with the Hawk and then play a Serpent. If the sources aren't red, Circle of Protection's big old nothing over there. We'll go ahead and draw the clue. Use the clue immediately. See what we draw. Get Pyroblast off the top. Very nice. So we can counter one of their next plays. And the Gearseeker Serpent can be unblockable. So the opponent's going to need something pretty special here to stay in the game. All right, opponent, what do you say? What do you got? Something? Nothing? Circle Protection red's not looking very good over there. Okay, they have a Gorilla Shaman. That's quite good. But once they start destroying artifacts, we can use the Electrickery to kill it. Oh, they have the negate to counter the Electrickery. So we have no red mana. We cannot Pyroblast. They get to keep their Gorilla Shaman. But that's 2 mana that they weren't able to use to activate it with. So they can get rid of our Seat of the Synod and Ancient Den. Our Serpent is no longer unblockable. but we can use Pyroblast to get one of the oracles out of the way. So we should just have them here. And I mean, the Fling is lethal, right? Do they have any mana left? They have no mana. So we can fling the Serpent after combat if they somehow manage to survive the attack. This hand doesn't look very good. We don't have any plays. We're just going to mulligan, try and find something better. This hand is fine. We can get rid of the basic mountain, play Chromatic Star into Wellspring, and hope to draw some early plays. Okay, looks like we're playing against Elves again. Elves is going to be a very difficult matchup, game 1, and it gets a little bit better games 2 and 3 when we can bring in our sideboard cards. Krark-Clan Shaman is a back-breaking card, and Electrickery is quite good. Okay, definitely an Elves deck. We're definitely in trouble. We're going far too slow for the opponent's start, and we have no removal. Okay, just another land. So I think we probably play Prism here. And look to play Gearseeker Serpent as soon as possible. But the opponent is going to be able to pump up their Vanguard quite a bit, hit us for a fairly large chunk of damage, and they also have access to quite a bit of mana. They only have one card left in hand, though. Probably Lead the Stampede? No, Timberwatch Elf. Timberwatch Elf is a big problem. So this game is basically over at this point unless we find Galv Blast off the top. And we do. Okay, so we can Galv Blast the Timberwatch Elf and then play the Gearseeker Serpent. It would be nice to kill the Vanguard, but the Timberwatch Elf is far more of a problem. So we got the perfect card in order to continue playing, basically. And they have no cards in hand. So even if they draw a single elf, the Vanguard cannot attack into the Serpent. But if they get a Lead the Stampede, or a... what's the blue card that draws cards equal to the number of creature types? Alright, so not good enough, whatever they drew. We get a Thoughtcast, so we'll draw cards. Okay, so we can return the Prophetic Prism and play it. I'm curious if I should attack here. If I start attacking, they can start attacking. But if we just hold back, then we're doomed to die quite quickly. I'm going to play the Wellspring to start and see what we draw. If we get Galv Blast, we can take the Vanguard off the table. Do we main Electrickery? No, we don't. We don't have Faithless Looting, so I didn't want to main it. Okay, Thraben Inspector off the top. I think I would rather play the Glint Hawk so that we can start attacking in the air. It also blocks fairly well. I think we do start attacking with Gearseeker here. The Elvish Vanguard is going to get out of range far too quickly. So I think that holding back is going to be a losing game. And we can start chumping with our creatures. Keep our life total healthy. What do we get off the top? Myr Enforcer. Okay. So Myr Enforcer is free. We'll draw a card with the Wellspring. Galvblast is no longer enough to get rid of the Vanguard. Okay, we'll play Thraben Inspector and we'll get a clue. End of turn we can crack the clue. And the Inspector will block the Vanguard. Probably should have cracked the clue just in case we drew Myr Enforcer. That would have been nice, then we could have double blocked the Vanguard. Come on, Atog Fling. Let's go Atog Fling. Okay, opponent has something here. Oh, a Harsh Sustenance. Okay. So they're going to drain for 6. Oh no, they're going to kill the creature. Yeah, okay. Get a Chromatic Star. And we find Fling. So we just need to find Atog now. Thraben Inspector instead. Okay, so we have a blocker for the Vanguard. We'll go ahead and use the clue, see what we draw. Find another Prism, we'll play that so that we can draw another card. Looking for that Atog. And we find it. So next turn we win. We just need to keep healthy. I'm wondering if I should send in with the Enforcer at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, we're just going to keep the Enforcer back as a blocker. Next turn, Atog Fling, win the game. Okay, they have the Melody. So they're going to draw a ton of cards. But their mana is limited here. They don't have Priest of Titania. So they only have access to 1, 2, 3... maybe 4 or 5 manas. Really need to avoid a second Harsh Sustenance here, but generally the Elves deck only plays one of those. Okay, so they hadn't played a land yet. That does increase the mana they have. There's a Priest of Titania, good for next turn. Spoiler alert, they don't have another turn coming. We will absolutely block that. Thraben Inspector doesn't sacrifice to Atog. Okay. So we should be able to get it here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have plenty of mana. We can go ahead and Thoughtcast first. Okay, we're going to set up our yields here so this goes a lot faster. Opponent's tapped out, so we shouldn't have to worry about any spells, but I can't think of any spells that elves play that would stop the Fling anyway. Okay. So we managed to steal the first game versus elves, and now we get to play with our sideboard cards. So we're going to bring in 3 Krark-Clan Shaman and Electrickery, some of the sweepers that are available in Pauper. Managing to resolve one of these is going to be very strong. I like taking out Myr Enforcer here. It's easy to block, and they also have access to Gleeful Sabotage, which would just take it off the board. I think Temur Battle Rage is fine. You think remove the Glint Hawk, eh? One of the big reasons I like the Glint Hawk is that it's going to be able to swing in the air for early damage. So if we can hit them twice and put them down to 16, that's 2 fewer artifacts we need for our Atog. It also blocks quite nicely. The problem with Glint Hawk is that they have access to Spider Silk Armor, which means they will be able to block the Hawk. And Shaman does. Let's just throw it up on chat there. But yeah, basically we sacrifice an artifact and it does the same thing as Electrickery. It doesn't hit flying creatures, but we can hold priority when we're doing it, so we can actually do more than 1 damage. We can do 2, 3, I've done 4 or 5 damage with Krark-Clan Shaman. Alright, we're going to submit like this. Okay, we have the Shaman in hand, but we have a 1-land hand and no red sources. If this was the red land, I would have kept it, but we have to mulligan this. Again, we have Krark-Clan Shaman with a 1-land hand. We do have access to Chromatic Star, which would let us put it into play. I'm actually considering keeping this hand just based on the strength of Krark-Clan Shaman. But otherwise, like, this hand is garbage. We're continuously getting these 1-land hands, and the 1 land is Darksteel Citadel. The deck is telling us, like, the deck is telling us that they probably have artifact destruction. They're going to kill our lands. But, oh man, these hands are just terrible. Just terrible. Okay, so we got to land off the top. Play the Chromatic Star. And we'll be looking to Thoughtcast as soon as we can. It's not my time. Who says it's not my time? My time is now. My time is here. Okay, Prophetic Prism. So we could play Chromatic Star and then Thoughtcast, or we could play Prophetic Prism. I want to get that Thoughtcast going right away. So we'll sack one of our stars and we'll draw 3 cards. No Krark-Clan Shaman, unfortunately. Looks like the opponent is stuck on lands here. Getting rid of their Birchlore Rangers would have been a good idea. Oh, they drew lands, so they drew out of their screw. The Shuffler says it's not my time. Yep. Versus Elves, do we bolt the bird? No. No, we don't. We have to specifically target some very specific elves. We don't really care about some of their low-level mana production, but the Priest of Titania is something that you can hit. And then I'm just trying to think about what some of the other must-hit elves are. Okay, here we go. Timberwatch Elf. Timberwatch Elf is one of the most dangerous cards that the opponent plays. So we see that, you have to kill it. We're going to play the Prophetic Prism, make our mana a little bit better. And we draw Glint Hawk, so we can go ahead and play that. Okay, let's see here. Did I play a land yet this turn? Yes, I did. Priest of Titania. Alright, so that's a problem card. They have access to a huge amount of mana next turn, so we're going to go ahead and Galvblast that Priest. Find a Furnace. Very nice. So we could play the Gearseeker Serpent as well, if we use the Chromatic Star. We're going to want to... Let's see here. So we'll get rid of the Priest to take them off mana. Attack for 2 in the air. And play the Serpent. Okay, another land. We don't have any more plays, but this is good enough to start. Yeah, so Timberwatch Elf will kill you if they untap with it. Well-Wisher is a little bit of a problem. But if we find a way to sweep the board, we will be able to do enough damage to recuperate. Let's play a Prism, see what we draw. Another land. Okay, I think we can play one more Prism before we play the Inspector. Okay, we find Serpent. That would have been nice last turn, or rather last draw. Just go ahead and play this and attack for 7. I don't think they'll block at all. So currently we're doing more damage than they can gain in life, but that could turn around very quickly. They still have 6 cards in hand. Surprising that they haven't laid anything out. I would have thought for sure that they would be able to cast whatever's in their hand. I have no idea what they could be sandbagging here. Okay, another land off the top. Let's draw a card with a Wellspring first. Another land. Alright, we'll attack here. And we're fine with trading the Thraben Inspector with any of their creatures, so if they want to double block the Inspector, that's fine. Okay, play another Serpent. And we'll have enough mana to crack the clue. Oh, they forgot to activate the Well-Wisher there. Okay, Quirion Ranger is going to allow them to produce more mana and gain more life. They can double up on something, once on their turn and once on our turn. Okay, so they're doubling up on life gain here. Four mana. So that's the Huntmaster, another one of the must-kill cards. Huntmaster gets things out of control very quickly, and with the Well-Wisher, they're going to start gaining more life than we can deal in damage very soon. So we really need to find a removal at this point. Okay, Prophetic Prism. We'll use that to draw a card. See if we can find Krark-Clan. Not yet. Okay, we'll play the star. We'll use it immediately. And we miss. Okay. So we're not going to be able to kill the Huntmaster, unfortunately. Oh, we still have 1 mana left over. So let's draw one more time. And we find another star. Unfortunate. Okay, we'll hold the Inspector back this time. The Huntmaster would just eat it up. Okay, this is where the opponent is going to be able to really start to get ahead. The Huntmaster is going to be giving them tokens every time they cast an elf. And that means the Well-Wisher is going to be gaining so many life. Whereas before, when they were just gaining 3 or 4 life a turn, not a problem, we're dealing more damage than that. And they weren't able to block. Now, they'll be able to block with their tokens and gain a ton of life with the Well-Wisher. Okay, are they drawing cards equal to the number of elves here? That's a dangerous game you're playing. So yeah, they must have had a bunch of 4-drops in hand, just a bunch of Distant Melodies and Huntmasters. They've got 10 cards in hand now. And how many mana they have? They have access to 2 mana, but every time they play a spell, they're going to get another elf, and that's going to help them cast as many 1-drops as they have in their hand, basically. And at 10 cards in hand, they should have a couple 1-drops. Just going to take a peek here. My elf list plays 17 1-drops. And are they seriously passing here? What? Okay. I mean, if I have to get lucky to win, then I guess I'm getting lucky. Discard Prohibit and a couple forests, and we get Atog off the top. Atog can draw us cards, so we're going to go ahead and cast it. Okay, they're going to counter this, but that taps some of their blockers, and if they're tapping Well-Wisher, they're not gaining life with it. I think that if they counter this spell, they just die. They could untap the Well-Wisher and then block the Serpent and gain life, but I think that they still die. Let's go ahead and draw a card with Chromatic Star just to see what we get. We get another Atog, okay. Nice. Okay, unfortunate. We don't get anything good there, and they went up to 6 life. Hopefully they don't end up at 1 after this attack. That would be embarrassing. Yeah, they untap the Well-Wisher, block the Serpent, gain 5 life, and then we deal 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god, because we played the Atog, they're at 1 life now. Punt. Should not have played that. Alright, we have nothing more to do. We'll pass. On the upside, the Well-Wisher is off the table, so they're no longer gaining life, and we have flyers. So when we untap, we can just attack with Glint Hawks and win. Yeah, all is not lost. A little bit awkward that we allowed them to untap here, but I don't think they'll be able to gain the life and block the Glint Hawks. Pretty sure this is just GG here. Another Essence Warden. So that's going to gain them a few life. One for the Warden itself and one for the Warrior. And if they have another 1-drop, they can gain another 3 life. Which would put them out of range of the Glint Hawk. But they don't have a lot of untapped creatures here in order to block. They have to block the Atog. Green Soul Sister, yes indeed. Essence Warden, gaining life. Not a card that I would play in the Elves list, but it's doing a lot of work here. Quite a bit of work. Okay, looks like they're passing back to us. They'll have to discard a card. I have 8 cards in hand right now. Okay, it looks like they've changed their mind. They want to untap more creatures this way. Have more blockers, makes sense. What do we draw? What do we draw? Ugh, nothing. Okay. So we can make one of our serpents unblockable. And then we also hit them with the Glint Hawks. So that should be lethal. And then we'll just attack all. Pretty sure the unblockable serpent seals it. Yeah, we got it. This hand looks fine. We can keep. The coveted 2/3. So you mean like a core Skyfisher? Play the Ancient Den, Thraben Inspector. Next turn, we have the Seat and the Star, and we can Thoughtcast. Okay, we're playing against probably Tron. So that's going to be a tough match. Yeah, Urzatron for the final go. That's going to be really tough. Okay, Prophetic Prism so we can continue drawing cards. Start with a Thoughtcast. Okay, we find Galvanic Blast. Play, I think, the Seat and the Prism. Draw another card. See if we can find Atog. Really looking for that Atog here. Yeah, that's what it says on my side too. That Pauper popularity, that's where it's coming from. Alright, so we're going to start with an attack. We're going to draw a card. Find Glint Hawk. So we can play Glint Hawk and Inspector here. And keep on trying to find that Atog. We're going to be looking to use the Chromatic Star quite soon. It would be nice to use it when the Atog's on the board instead, but we just don't have time. Okay. So let's see here. We'll play the Darksteel Citadel, I think. We might play the Thriving Heath instead. Let's see what we draw with the Prophetic Prism. Another star. Alright, we're going to start cracking stars now. Find another prism, huh? There's the Atog. Okay. So we'll play the Darksteel Citadel so we can get another Chromatic Star onto the board. And we're going to need to be sneaky about this Atog Fling, because the opponent will have some access to counter magic. They have Prohibit, and I think Unwind. Okay, here's a Mole Drifter. They're tapping all their mana for it, so they might just be dead here. Okay, we have no more artifact lands. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is 18 and 19 for the Atog, so that's lethal. Play the Tog. Tap our mana. We'll make a red. We'll make another red. Okay. Managed to steal game 1 versus Tron with Atog Fling. Very nice. Now, what are we going to do against Tron for game 2? I think we want the Pyroblast. Counter their Mole Drifters and their Ghostly Flicker, which is why we're bringing in Dispel. Which spell? Dispel. Unfortunately, the Gorilla Shaman is going to have a very tough time killing any of the artifacts that Tron plays. We're not going to bother bringing it in. Electrickery is of no value either. So we just have to take out 4 cards. The Fling is going to be a bit of a liability in this matchup, but I think that it's really like the way that we win is to resolve Fling. And I think that the creatures we have are going to be a lot less reliable. They're going to be able to stop combat, so we're going to trim out some of the creatures. Thinking I might take out the Temur Battle Rage as well, just because of how efficient Tron is at stopping combat. Alright, we'll submit like this. Okay, so we have lands and spells, but our lands don't cast our spells. So we're going to mulligan this. Okay, a similar problem to the first hand, but we'll have access to Thoughtcast turn 3, so that will even out our lands. We're going to either put the Galvblast or the Glint Hawk back. I'm leaning towards getting rid of the Galvblast here, because the Glint Hawk could help us draw more cards with the Wellspring. Although the Galvblast can be quite nice at removing the problematic creatures that Tron has. So we're going to keep the Galvblast instead. We'll ditch the Hawk. Being able to kill a wall or a Mole Drifter as they're trying to ephemerate it could be quite good. Okay, we find Pyroblast off the top. That'll be a nice card in the mid to late game. Okay, Chromatic Star. That'll get us some different colored manas. But for now, we're just going to play Wellspring and try and draw a card. Okay, they decided that wasn't worth a prohibit. I don't blame them. Okay, 3 mana. Compulsive Research. Draw 3 cards, discard 1. I have seen this card discard 2 cards in the past, but it doesn't happen very often. Okay, they discard 2, Mnemonic Wall and Ghostly Flicker. Their hand has got to be stacked. We find another land off the top, very good. So we can cast Thoughtcast for 1 mana, let's do that. Find another Galvblast. So we have the choice of holding Pyroblast up here, but they don't have a lot of mana yet. So I would like to play Prophetic Prism so that we can make our mana a little bit better, and we even draw a land off the top. Okay, here's a Mole Drifter being evoked, and they don't have the right mana to ephemerate it, so that'll be off the board. Flush hand as far as... Okay, so we both are playing with full hands here. I'm just trying to decide if I need to play the Citadel here, or if I can just play the Heath this turn. Playing the Atog. Might be a little bit dangerous. I would need untapped mana in order to protect it. So we could play the Citadel, Chromatic Star, and Atog and hold up Pyroblast. And then the Atog can start attacking. We'll be able to sacrifice the Wellspring and the Star next turn to draw cards and make the Atog that much larger. Okay, opponent is passing with a ton of mana up, so they could have Moment's Peace ready to go. We do not have Dispel, so we won't be able to stop that. Let's play the Enforcer. And let's go ahead and see what's on top of the deck. Sacrifice the Wellspring. Find a Prism. Okay, we'll play a Prism. We have access to 2 Pyroblasts. We also have Galvanic Blast. And find another Atog. Wonderful. Attack for 3. I'm going to sacrifice the Star, draw another card here. And we do manage to connect. Okay, I'm going to play the Thriving Heath and pass. And I think I'll go ahead and name red as the color. Looks like the Galv Blasts are going to be going face. Ah, a Braid. So they're going to go ahead and destroy the Myr Enforcer. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. We could sacrifice it to Atog, but that's of no real value. Prophetic Prism, that's fine. Not that we could do anything about it anyway. Alright, let's go ahead and hit them with one of our Galv Blasts. See if that'll elicit a response. Nope. They want to keep their mana open. Oh, a Weather the Storm. Okay. So they're going to be able to gain 9 life with that. It's not something that I was expecting from the opponent. But they only have a single land up now. We don't have enough artifacts, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 12, 13 damage. We could get up to 15 with the Prophetic Prism. And we find another Atog. Alright, let's go ahead and attack, and we'll play another Atog on the second main. Oh, they're going for a crop rotation here. Again, we don't have Dispel, so we can't do anything about that. I imagine they'll be getting another Urza land. Yep, Urza Mine. And do they have the Power Plant in hand? I think they would have slammed it if they had it. Impulse. Oh, I hit I hit okay a little bit too soon there. I should have actually Pyroblasted that. Impulse is very strong. It could find them the other land, but they missed. Okay, they're tapping out for Bonder's Ornament. They do have access to 1 mana through the ornament itself. And we find another artifact. Let's do another count. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18. So we're off by just a little bit. The Galv Blast itself could finish it off. Okay. So what do you think? Do we go for it here? They're basically tapped out. And we should be able to counter whatever they have with Pyroblast, because we'll have the Mountain and the Thriving Heath left over. So I think we go for it here, right? Start on Galv while we still have all the artifacts in play. Okay, that worked. All right, let's go to combat. Oh yeah, I should have, we still have this one here though, but I should have used the Great Furnace for the Galv Blast. Yeah, should have used the Great Furnace there. So we cut ourselves off of one of our mana, but we still have the 1 Pyroblast that we're going to need for their 1 mana. Yep. Float red during blocks. Before we start sacrificing, we're going to float all the mana. And we'll have red from Prophetic Prism, so we'll have double red. Okay. Now we start sacrificing. Hey, we got there. 3-2. Did it. This is disappointing. You wanted me to get the 2-3? No such luck. Actually managed to beat Tron. So that's pretty nice. If you're... The 2-3 was so close. You're right. You're right. How can I live being such a disappointment to Handsome? It's going to be hard, but I'll find a way. So this was our final league with the Jeskai Affinity deck. Very interesting deck. Plays a kind of combo with the Atog and Fling, or the Atog and the Artifact lands, as you just saw, to be able to do huge amounts of damage in a single swing. I think that one of the things that I would change is I would probably replace the Gearseeker Serpent with Core Skyfisher, and I might like to put Bonder's Ornament in the deck as well, just to be able to continue to draw cards to get to that Atog Fling. I feel like most of the time that I win a game with this deck, it's generally with Atog. But having access to the Skyfisher would give us control over the skies, and we could start swinging in for 2 damage here, 4 damage there. I think that would be a little bit better than what we're running, and as I recall, that's what Carves 'Carves was doing when we played against them last week. As far as the sideboard goes, pretty satisfied actually with the sideboard. I might like to bring a single Krark-Clan Shaman into the main deck, especially if we're playing more flyers. And this would give us better game ones versus elves, as well as Stompy. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Thank you everyone who tuned in.